सहनाववतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। भास्कर, गोपिका गीतम.
Hari Om, uncle.
Start, Gopi.
I have never sung in front of others ever before in my life.
You do for Krishna, bas.
But I'm doing it with the idea that those who are here are not others. All are Bhagavatas, you are Atma Bandhus. So you will forgive me for any mistakes, any apaswaram, anything.
I can forgive you for not singing properly. I cannot forgive you for asking forgiveness.
Okay, forgive me for asking forgiveness.
Yeah, you should not. We are all Bhagavatas, Narayana. Yeah, come on, sing.
जयति तेऽधिकं जन्मना प्रज शयत इंदिरा शश्वदत्र हि दयित दृश्यतां दिक्षु तावका त्वयि धृता सव त्वां विचिन्वते शरदुदाशये साधु जात सत् सरसिजोदर श्रीमुषादृशा सुरतनाथ ते शुकदासिका वरदनिघ्नतो नेह किं वद
26%.
विषजलाप्यया व्यालराक्षसा वर्षमारुता वैद्युतानला वृषमयात्मजात् विश्वतो भयात् वृषभते वयं रक्षिता मुहुः न खलु गोपिका नंदनो भवान् अखिल देहिनान्तरात्मदृक् विघ्न सार्थितो विश्वगुप्तये सखौ देवान् सात्वताङ्कुले विरचिता भयं वृष्णिधुर्यते चरणमीयुषां संसृतेर्भया करसरोरुहं कान्तकामदं शिरसि देहिना श्रीकरग्रहं व्रजजनार्तिहन् वीरयोषितां निजजनस्मय ध्वंसनस्मितम् अज सखे भवत् किङ्करी स्मनो Jalaruhanam Charudarshaya Natadehinam Papakarshanam Trinacharamukam Sriniketanam Fanifanarpitam Te Padam Krinukucheshuna Grindhirechayam Madhuraya Gira Valguvakyaya Budhamanugaya Pushkarekshana Vidhikaririma Vidamuhyati Adharasidhuna Pyayayasvana Tava Kathamritam Tava Jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadattatam Bhuvi Krinanti te Bhurita Janaha Iti Gopya Pragayantyah Pralapantyascha Chitradha Guruduhu Suswaram Rajan Krishna Darshana Lalasaha
Beautiful.
Tasamavirabhut Shaurihi Smayamanam Kambujaha Pitambaradharasragvi Sakshat Manmatha Manmatha.
Thank you. You created the mood.
I
Beautiful.
took 2 extra shlokas, uncle. I could not leave Gopis and Krishna separate, so I had to say the shloka where Krishna appeared also.
Yes, it's beautiful. Narayana. Okay. So, the whole life is means and end, cause and effect. Means and end. I should come back. Means and end, cause and effect. But there is a total confusion regarding this means and end. When you are born, the immediate end is to find a seat in LKG. That's the most difficult thing. You go to Mitrananji, he will tell you, I didn't go for my sister itself, sister's daughter itself, right? So no chance. So that is the first problem. Okay, you got it. So that end you have got, was that an end? No, it's a means. Then he has to study. If there are 40 students, 40 mothers want their child to come first. Impractical. 40 mothers want 40 children. Their child should come first. Impractical. And after that, somehow comes to 10th. After that, struggle 10th, 11th, 12th. After that, did it end? No, that's a means to get college admission. You got it. Does it end? That's a means to get degree. That becomes a means for a job. That becomes a mean for not only livelihood to get married. That becomes a means to get a child. Where did you come? Where you began? Where you began, that's where you come. So what were you doing? Were you reaching anywhere? Were you reaching anywhere? So how do you arrive at? the end having got, there is nothing more to gain. End having reached, there's nothing more to gain. Aishu, come on to the screen. I'll see you, I'll get inspired.
She's there, uncle.
Yeah, she's there, but she should come like Lalita. Or Lalita. Somebody let
She's
them
on
be
phone,
there.
uncle. She's on phone. So
Doesn't matter.
view
Somebody
showing.
let them be there, so I talk to them. Narayana. Okay. Right. So, what is the ultimate end? Is there any ultimate end at all? Aristotle put it beautifully. Every end was becoming a means. There is an end which doesn't become a mean, that is the ultimate end. If there is an end that doesn't become a means, that is the ultimate end. What is that? Is there something? Yes. Why were you doing all that? Ultimately for happiness. A saint leading his life, a sinner leading his life, all are living only for gaining happiness, getting rid of sorrow. Sukha prapti, dukkha nivritti. So sukha prapti is the ultimate end, happiness. That is the purpose. So all that earlier we were talking about means and ends are progressive. They are all needed. But that is not an end. They are all means for this ultimate end. In all of them, there was struggle. In all of them, there was struggle. And in happiness, all struggle ends. If there is even a little doubt, little fear, it is not the ultimate happiness. Everything ends there. That is the ultimate happiness. If such a happiness is there, which is ultimate, which is total, it cannot be a product of karma. Because anything that karma can give you is to be finite. Is to be finite because karma itself is finite. Cause and effect are relative. So if there is a happiness which is total, it cannot be out of karma. It should be there everywhere, in all people, at all times. What is there everywhere, at all times, in all people, has only to be known, not to be acquired. Some Sanskrit words now and then we throw so that it will work in time. Aparam chet praptavyam. Param chet jnatavyam. Aparam, if it is secondary, if it is relative, it should be acquired through action. Param chet, if it is the ultimate, jnatavyam, it should only be known. Aparam chet praptavyam. Param chet jnatavyam. It should only be known. Not only that, the worldly problems, the moment you solve one problem, gives rise to another problem. That's the nature. The moment you solve one problem, gives rise to another problem. That is the worldly nature. So therefore, solving problems doesn't take you to the ultimate. So what does this Vedanta, this Nishreya Sapala give you? It doesn't solve the problem. It makes you see the very problem has no locus. It is a confusion in your mind. It's a confusion in your mind. There is no locus for it. So the problem is not solved. The problem is dissolved. The problem is dissolved. Supposing you have some sickness, you go to a doctor with a scan. He sees the scan and says, yes, there is some growth, but there is nothing to worry. I can cure it. You were little worried there is a growth. Then when he said, I can cure it, you were relaxed. Supposing you take a scan and doctor says, it's clear, nothing to worry. You are very happy. Similarly, if you have a problem and you have a solution, okay, it's there. But if the problem itself is not there, there is no worry at all. This is what Vedanta does. It says the body has a problem, the mind has a problem, the intellect has a problem. The one who owns the body, who owns the mind, who owns the intellect, has to be different from the body, different from the mind, different from the intellect. There is not one problem which does not belong to the body, which does not belong to the mind, which does not belong to the intellect. Therefore, the owner of the body, mind, intellect has no problem. So all that you have to do is to know who is this owner, because all along you have been mixing up. When somebody asks, who are you? Introduce yourself. I'm so and so. It's only a name that can be changed by a gazette publication. It can be changed by gazette publication. Who are you? I'm an Indian. That's a nationality. That also can be changed. Who are you? I'm a man. That also can be changed. Right? So that's not you. I am fat. I am lean. I am fair. I am unfair. You know, this is not you, the body. Okay, I grant you are the body. I am. Then what do I say? I am worried. Body doesn't worry. Body cannot worry. Mind worry. Sometime back you said you are the body. Now you are saying you are the mind. Body is not the mind. So tell me clearly your ID. Sometime back you said you are the body. Now you are saying you are the mind. If you have no ID, you don't have your own identity. How can I talk with such a person who doesn't know himself? How can I rely on him? You have to introduce me properly if I have to talk to you. So you are not the body, you are not the mind, so also you are not the intellect. All problems belong to the body, all problems belong to the mind, all problems belong to the intellect. Therefore, you have no problems. Now you have to know who is this I who has no problems. That's very simple. Who is the one who said, I have problems? Who is the one who said, I have problems? Try to trace his origin. He is the very life principle, consciousness, awareness behind this I thought. Is it so difficult to arrive at the awareness behind the thought? Just see where from the thought rises, where the thought stays, where the thought dissolves. That is you. It's not difficult. It only needs your intention. I must find the solution. Most of us only want to gather information in the form of knowledge, do not want an immediate solution. Knowledge I can compare with others. I know all the Vedas, I know all the Upanishads, I have studied all the Bhashyas, Shankara Ramanuja Madhva, with Tikas, Anandagiri and all that. That's all you want. You do not want to know Brahman. Right? So therefore, your confusion also takes long time. If you are very keen, like Sri Vivekananda taught a youngster went and asked Vivekananda when he was bathing in Ganges, can you show me God? Can you show me God? So Vivekananda was a hefty person. This boy was a puny person. He drowned him in water till he was struggling and almost going to die. Then he left him. And that boy, he asked, what was your experience under the water? Were you thinking about your tomorrow's IPL match? Were you thinking of your holidays in summer? He says, where can I think? I was struggling for my life. What is there any other thought other than my life? At that time, you had none of the bodily needs, emotional needs or intellectual needs. You alone was there, wanting to be released from all these encrustations. That one which was there at that time, detached from the body, mind, intellectual needs, only to express itself as life, is the one which you experience every day when you are not aware of the body consciousness, mind consciousness, intellectual consciousness in the sleep. While you sleep, you are not aware of the body, you are not aware of the mind, you are not aware of the intellect, but you are aware that you are not aware of the body, you are not aware of the mind, you are not aware of the intellect. Swamiji puts it beautifully, the difference between sleep and samadhi. In sleep, you are not aware of the presence of objects. In samadhi, you are aware of the absence of objects. See, that is the real being that you are. This definition again, you ask people, what is Nirvikalpa Samadhi? What is the ultimate state of liberation? You ask anybody, they can give you a lecture for 2 months continuously. Ultimately, no solution found. Bhagavatam makes it very simple. Muktihi anya rupan hitva swaswarupe samstitihi. Detach yourself from all your forms, body, mind, intellect, all notions detached. What is left over is you. Can you have a simpler this thing than that? Detached from all other forms with which you identify. I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect. And see what is left over. That is you. Stay there. That is samadhi. This is the essence of Vedanta. This is the essence of Bhagavata. And therefore, the very first verses clearly tells us what is our problem, what is the solution, what is the means. The first verse is strictly according to the standard of Brahma Sutra. It clearly tells what's your problem, what's the goal, what is the means. What is the problem? You are a confused, mixed up personality. You are a confused, mixed up personality. You are a being. You are associating yourself with all that is becoming. You are changeless. You are associating with all that is changing. You are a tangible reality. You are associating with all perceptions. That is the problem. What is the solution? To know me as me, free from all these notions. What is the means? Meditate. Therefore, it ends. Satyam Param Dhimahi. Satyam, truth, your own real being. Param, that ultimate. Dhimahi, meditate. Have you heard this Dhimahi elsewhere? Gayatri. Gayatri mantra. Ends with Dhimahi. Right? So what is this? Bhagavata, ultimately, it is Gayatri Swarupa. It is Samadhi Bhasha because it gives you a description, a means of that state wherein you have no more thought waves. You have no more agitations. So it ends with Samadhi Bhasha. Can you just say because he uses Satyam Param Dhimahi, it is Samadhi Bhasha, it is Gayatri, it is ultimate? No, there is another yardstick. For any text, the way to arrive at its topic is where it starts, it should end. It started with Satyam Param Dhimahi. At the end of 13th Skanda, it ends with Satyam Param Dhimahi. Same thing like Gita. Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre started. Right? And then ended with what? Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Dharma is the topic. Right? And the last word in Gita, literally last word is Mama. So what is the subject matter of Gita? Mama Dharma. Right? So therefore, since this confirms to that norm of Upakramana Upasamhara, beginning and end, the subject matter of Bhagavata is Satyam, is Param, to be got through Dhimahi. And it is very strange. This is a representation of Gayatri. Ramayana is also Gayatri. It has 24,000 slokas. Every 1,000 slokas, it starts with the one letter of Gayatri. Starts with Ta first. Right? 24,000 slokas. Every 1,000 slokas, the first letter of Gayatri is there. That's also Gayatri Swarupa. Why is Gayatri Swarupa so important? Because it clearly says, Bhur Bhuva Swaha Vyahrutis, though not part of the Gayatri, the triple phenomena, body, mind, intellect, past, present, future. Past, present, future. Right? Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Guna. These are all the changing phenomena, that which illumines them. Tat Savituhu. Savituhu, Surya, who illumines. Varenyam. So that's the entire Vedanta. Bhurbhuvasvaha, changing BMI. Tat Savitur Varenyam, changeless here, the consciousness. Therefore, Gayatri is the essence of Vedanta. And that Gayatri, still shortened and put in one letter, Omkara, Auma is this Triputi. The silence that supports Auma is that Sat Savituhu. So it clearly talks that we are in a state of confusion. You have to know that. How do you know that? The consciousness, from that your thoughts rise. In that your thoughts stand. Into that your thoughts dissolve. Your day starts with thoughts rising from consciousness when you get up from sleep. Your thoughts are sustained by that consciousness. When you go to sleep, they merge back into the consciousness. So from which the thoughts rise, in which the thoughts sustain, into which the thoughts go back. How do you know the ocean or water? From which the waves and the bubbles rise, in which the waves and the bubbles stay, into which the waves and the bubble merge back. So that from that which the creation started, in which the creation sustained, in which the creation melted back. That is the consciousness. Yatova imani bhutani jayanti, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayantya abhivishanti. From which all the beings have risen, where everybody stayed, into which everybody goes back, is this consciousness, existence. That is you. Therefore, the very Brahma Sutra started. Janmadhyasya yataha. From whom all this birth, etc. come. The very word is taken in Bhagavata to start with. To start with. That very word. Therefore, this is the essence of Vedanta. What does he say? Janmadhyasya yato anvayat itaratascha ardheshu abhignaha swarat tene brahmahuda ya adi kavaye mukyanti yat surayaha tejo varimrudo yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrusha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. Sada, all the time. Nirasta kuhakam, there is no crookedness. The body stinks. The mind is restless. The intellect is dull. They all have their defects. Consciousness has none of them. So therefore, this is that Satyam, where there is Nirasta Kuhakam, all limitations and all filth ends up. Nirasta Kuhakam, Satyam Param Dhimahi. How to know? Janmadhyasya yataha, from which all beings manifest. How do you get up, wake up? Your mind comes back from the consciousness. And that is the creation. The whole day you transact in the consciousness. When you are tired in the evening, you merge back into the consciousness. Therefore, Yatova Yamani Bhutani Jayante, which I told, Taittiriya Upanishad is the simplest direct definition through the indirect means. Janmadhyasya yato anvayat. How to know that? Anvayat, that which is there in and through all these changes. I told Janma Adi, that means multiplicity. When Adi comes, multiplicity. Through all this multiplicity, that which is there constantly without changing, Anvayat, that existence, that consciousness is the truth, Satyam. Further, some more hints. Itaratascha, artheshu, abhignaha. It can be known in all the other things by itself. How? Swamiji's beautiful cause-effect theory. How do you know the cause? Every cause has an effect. First rule. The effect is nothing but cause in a different form. Second rule. Remove the cause, there is no effect. Ultimate rule. So, if everything is existing, if everything is seen, there is existence in them. You can intuitively feel it. Adheshu, abhignaha, swarat, and in the mind, in the heart, it clearly shows itself to you. Behind every thought, pratibodha viditam, amritatvam, that which does not change. So, swarat, tene brahmahuda, brahmahruda ya adikavaye. The same thing was revealed to Brahma, the first seer, Adikavaye, the first poet. Poet, Kavi means not poet. Seer, the first one to get this knowledge through Brahman. Where did he get it? Heart. What is the heart? Your core of the personality, where your feelings and emotions are resting in a pure heart, because the surface is clean, consciousness reflects clearly. Where the waters are muddy, you can't see the reflection of the sun. Where the waters are agitated, you can see the reflection of the sun but broken. Where the water is clear, no agitations, the reflection is clear. In tamas, muddy thing, you cannot feel the consciousness. In rajas, it is agitated, it's broken. In sattva, it is clear. Therefore, in your heart, where it is free from rajo and tamo gunas, it clearly is felt in your own heart. That is the essence of saying Brahmaji has his revelation in his heart. And this truth, the simplest, because nothing can be simpler to you than yourself. Everything else is something other than you. You should be the simplest for you. But you cannot know even after being told. Why? That is called mukh, to delude. Mukhyanti. People are deluded. Who? Not ordinary people. Not ordinary people. Surayaha. The learned people. Even they are deluded. Even after being told. Right? Why? Because of this mixing up of truth and untruth. All that we see in the world is a mixture of truth and untruth. Satya Anrutam Midini Krutya. The world that you see is never the same. Neither is it true. The earth is flat. Is it flat? Earth is stationary. Is it stationary? Sky is blue. There is no sky at all. Where is the question of blueness? So all that you see is false. If you see something, it is false. Yad drusyam tannashyam. If you see something, that is false. Right? The whole world is seen. It cannot be real. And the seer is real. Right? So, it's a mixture of the seer and the seen. I, the seer, identify with my body, mind, intellect, feel I am the body, mind, intellect. I am a mixture of real and unreal. The real as Sat Chit Ananda, the unreal as name and form. Asti, Bhati, Priyam, Nama, Rupam. Existence, consciousness, happiness name and form, asti panchakam. Everyone has these 5 aspects. Adya Trayam, the first 3, Asti, Bhati, Priyam, Satchidananda, Brahma Rupam, that is real, that is truth, that is Brahman. Tato Dvayam, Jagat Rupam, the later 2, name and form, are this world of names and forms, appearances. So the whole world is nothing but truth seen differently. Gold plus name and form is earring, chain and bangle. Earring and chain and bangle are nothing but gold. But still they have different utilities, different forms, but ultimately remove the name and the form, remove the gold, whatever is there is only gold. But without gold, can you have a earring, chain and bangle? Without truth, you cannot have falsehood. The very truth appears to be false. You see the truth, the world is real. Ramana Bhagavan clearly says, if you see world as part of God, world is real. If you see the world apart from God, world is not real. If you see the ornaments as gold, ornaments are real. If you miss to see the gold, ornaments are not real. Therefore, all of us are a mixture of truth and untruth, like the mirage waters. Like the mirage waters. That's what he says here. Tejo vari mrudam. Tejaha, light, sunlight. Vari, water particles. Mruda, earth. All these give an illusory feeling of mirage waters. They cannot quench your thirst. That which appears like this, therefore, Surayaha Mukhyanti, even the enlightened people are deluded, where all these Trisarga, that is creation, sustenance, destruction, all these past, present, future, right? All the triputis, sattva, sattva guna, rajo guna, tamo guna, all of them are not there in that consciousness. They are only appearances. The very same thing, Sanskrit gives this possibility where the 3 satyas are not also asatyam because they are supported by this satyam. Earring, chain and bangle are not real because they change. But earring, chain and bangle are real when you see the gold in that. Therefore, the world is also real as you see, if you see it as God. If you miss God, world is not real. And now it's mixed up. What should you do? Should separate. For what? To know the God that you are, so that you get out of all your sorrows. How should you do it? To contemplation. What is contemplation? Negation of the unreal, assertion of the real. Abhyasa, Vairagya. How do you do that? Through the intellect, contemplate, Guru Vakya, Apta Vakya, whatever is told to you, meditate, Satyam Param Dhimahi. So the first verse gives complete concentrated Vedanta. Complete concentrated Vedanta. I am able to talk to you. You are able to reasonably understand it because of our God, Guru, Swami Chinmayananda, who made most difficult topics reasonably understandable for an average person too. That is the greatness of our Gurudev. And what all I talked, your head must be reeling. See how Gurudev puts it simple. I will give you a sentence. Please listen very carefully. That means God, dressed in matter, is the vainful thou. That dressed in matter is the vainful thou. Thou undressed is that. Finished. Tattvamasi. You talk to people, they will start with Jahal Lachana, Ajahal Lachana, Jaha Jahal Lachana, Vachyartha, Lakshartha. Ultimately, you won't gain anything. Gurudev put it so simple and beautiful. That dressed in matter is the vainful thou. Thou undressed is that. So now, second day, you came to Bhagavata. You got migraine after listening to me. You decided to stop. But should your investment of 1.5 days go waste? No. Just to know you are not the BMI, you are the consciousness. Practice it. You got full dividends. Just to know you are not the BMI, you are the consciousness. You got your full dividend. You don't have to worry. Right? So that's how Bhagavata starts. And to substantiate what he said earlier, this is Vedanta Sara, he gives another beautiful verse. Nigamak kalpatarohu gaditam phalam. Nigama kalpatarohu gaditam phalam. Sukha mukhat amrita drava samyutam. Pibata Bhagavatam rasam alayam. Muhuhu aho rachika bhuvi bhavukaha. O contemplative ones, O meditative ones, there's something beautiful. A beautiful juice which will never, you feel, Tamil there is a word, I don't know what is the word for English. Tegatradhu. Tegatradhu. எவ்வளவு பியூட்டிஃபுல் ரசமா இருந்தாலும் ஒரு லெவல்ல திகட்டும். ஒரு லெவல்ல திகட்டும். பாகவத ரசம் திகட்டாது. அதனால நிறைய சாப்பிடு. ஃப்ரீ திகட்டாது. சாப்பிடு. அது சாப்பிட சாப்பிட உனக்கு அமிர்தத்துவம் கிடைக்கும். அவ்வளவு ருச்சிகரமானது, பழுத்தது. அப்படியும் அதுலயும் என்ன சமாச்சாரம்? பழுத்த பழத்தை பேரட் சாப்பிட்டு கொடுத்துருக்கணும். எனி ஃப்ரூட் தட் இஸ் pecked by a parrot is sweetest. So this fruit has been pecked by parrot. Who is the parrot? Sukha. Sukha name itself is parrot. Sukha name itself is parrot. What is the fruit he is giving? Nigama kalpataro phalam. The fruit of Vedanta. The fruit of Vedanta. Taken from all the Vedas. Sukhamukad amrita dravam. Samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam. All your life, drink. Problems will come. They will not stop to anybody. Did problems stop to Krishna? Is there somebody who faced more problems than Krishna? Right? All of you know all the difficulties that Krishna went. But still, I can tell you one greatest difficulty, what we are not aware. Supposing Uma suspects Aishu, can there be more miserable thing than that? She can have any problem, she can take it. But Uma suspecting Aishu, how can she take it? That also happened to Bhagavan. Balram himself started suspecting him. Balarama suspected he has the Shamantaka money. Right? He has the Shamantaka money. What more can he face? What more can he face? From birth, not 1 second relaxation. Starting from Putana onwards. Right? And end how? All his kith and kin killed before his eyes. Some of them he himself killed before his eyes. Because what is our goal in life? Whatever we suffer, end should be peaceful. That also was not there for Krishna. Right? That also was not there. He was also shot. What about Rama? For several problems, same problem of people talking all nonsense. Ultimately, what happened? He has to banish his life. Lakshmana was his life, Bahiprana. He has to banish him. And Lakshmana has to disappear. And ultimately, he has to follow. If our gods could not save themselves from problems, they underwent all through. Should you and I expect these problems to stop? They are not meant to be. It is these problems that evolve you from your involvement. Therefore, that God, with all love, with all compassion, gives you the problems. We'll come to that tomorrow when we come to Kunti's prayer. When we come to Kunti's prayer, we come to that. God, with all his love, gives you the problems because you have to come out of the shell. You have to come out of this shell. So therefore, the Bhagavata doesn't teach you or tell you that you will be free from all your problems you read Bhagavata. But it says you will discover the very problems are illusion, delusion. Again, Gurudev's beautiful sentence. Grief is the language of delusion. Grief is the language of delusion. You understand? And that's how everything starts. You imagine death. Who has death? The wave has death because it has a birth. Was the wave ever different from water? Does water have a birth and death? Are you ever different from Sachidananda? Where is birth? Where is death? Where is grief? So that which clears all the confusions is Vedanta, and its essence is Bhagavata, whose essence is Rasa Leela, which will come. Right? And that Bhagavata, we could have not touched it, talked it, heard it, but for the love of Krishna, Chinmaya Krishna. We would have not been able to have this session. We don't have to worry whether it is perfect or imperfect. Bhagavata gives license to that also. Tad Vag Visargaha. That Janataghava Viplavaha. Tad Vag Visargaha. Janataghava Viplavaha. Yesmin Pratislokam Abadhavatyapi Namani Anantasya Yashankitani Yachrunvanti Gayanti Grunanti cha. You can talk Abadham. Badham means bound in rules, grammatical rules. Chandas. You don't know grammar. It's not bound by Chandas, nor is it bound by logic. Talk nonsense. But devotees cannot but talk nonsense. They don't care your logic. They don't care your grammar. They don't care your chandans. They talk about Bhagavan in all ecstasy, and they do enjoy. Somebody told me this, a person who saw this, when he went to Tirupati in the queue, some illiterate man was telling, go in there, go in there, go in there. This man said, Apdi illapa, it's not like that. Say Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. That man said, sir, 30 years I have been calling him like this, and he has been answering my prayers. Go in there, go in there. 30 years I've been calling him like this and has been answering my prayers. Right? That's what Bhagavata is. You do not have to worry about the imperfection of the one who speaks. If your mind is lifted to that God, it's enough. Now, you all know the story. Parikshit Maharaj was cursed, and therefore he decided to leave his body in tapas before Takshaka comes and bites him. Takshaka is the serpent of time, Kala Sarpa. Before it bites him, he wanted to leave. All of us are encountered by Takshaka at any given time. But you and I do not make that effort. You and I think this world is permanent. What are we doing? World has to be used for God. World has to be used for God. What you and I are doing? Using God for the world. Using God for the world. So Parikshit was not like that. He immediately renounced everything, came to Ganges bank and said, I must conquer death. I must become immortal. And since his resolution, Subeksha, as Yoga Vasishtam calls it, Subeksha was there, everything fell into place and he got released from this body before Takshaka could bite. What Takshaka bit? His body, where life has left. So what happened? Funeral charges are saved for them because Takshaka made the body ashes. There is no need to carry it. That's all what happened to Parikshit. You and I should also try to gain that immortality before this so-called flimsy, unreal mortality affects us. So that is this thing. And as I told yesterday, the whole thing is a dialogue between Suta and Shaunaka, narrating the dialogue between Parikshit and Shuka, or Shuka and Parikshit. So these people ask, Shaunaka asked Suta a few questions. A few questions. Where was this? This was in Naimisharanya. It's very famous even today. People go there and Akhandana Parayanam is going on. Akhanda Bhagavata lectures are going on in Naimisharanya. It is somewhere near Ayodhya, beyond Ayodhya somewhere, right? So that is where. What is there any significance for that? Naimisha Aranya, where there is no Nimisha. Nimisha is closing, winking. There is no winking. There is no winking. When do you wink? If you are stunned, if you are sleeping, if you are in coma, you don't wink. Why? To wink, you need thoughts. Without thoughts, without mind, you cannot wink. So you stop winking means what? There are no thoughts. What does it mean? You are in samadhi. So in the samadhi sthala, Naimishe, Animishe. Naimisharanya, Animishe, without winking. Vishnu is always in Yoga Nidra. He doesn't wink. He doesn't wink. There this dialogue started. And they asked a few questions. Only 2 minutes more. So 1 minute only. So we'll continue tomorrow, right? And because all of you were learned and Gurudev's devotees, I didn't want to go in a haste and skip certain important things. So I did it leisurely to you. So otherwise, third day we should come to Krishna Janma. Now second day we have not even started the first chapter, this thing. Because you are all of that caliber. And Gurudev says, don't rush, give them the best. Okay, we'll see tomorrow. For all of you, it will be put in the group also. 14th, we won't have the class. 12th and 13th, unless some reason Aishu cannot come, we will have the class on 12th and 13th. Right? Narayan. Okay. Lalita Bhajan. One Bhajan.
Krishna Krishna Mukunda Janardhana, Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare, Krishna Krishna Mukunda Janardhana, Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare, Achyudananda Govinda Madhava, Achyudananda Govinda Madhava, सचिदानंद नारायण हरे, सचिदानंद नारायण हरे, कृष्ण कृष्ण मुकुंद जनार्दना, कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे, कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे, कृष्ण गोविंद नारायण हरे। बोलिए श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया की जय।
Okay, Hari Om, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you.